Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Mr. Ainsworth. We're going to get to a lesson here on how to rapidly square any two-digit number ending in 1 in your head, okay? And I'm talking about two-digit numbers with decimals too. So let's get started and go for it. All right, so let me show you what I'm talking about here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take any number, any two-digit number ending in 1, like 31, all right, and we're going to learn how to square it in our head. But first, what we're going to do is we're going to bring back an old friend called FOIL, which is an Algebra 1 technique, and help us out. Okay, so we're going to take 31 squared and write it as 31 times 31. I'm going to expand both of them. I'm going to write 31 as 30 plus 1 times 30 plus 1, and then multiply these binomials using the first outer inner last FOIL technique. All right, and so to do that, we take 30 times 30. Okay, I'm not going to write that as 900. I'm going to rewrite that as 30 squared. 30 times 30 is 30 squared. I know it's 900, but I want to develop the method, so here we go. And then the outer product right here is 30 times 1 is 30. Inner product is another 30. 1 times 30 is 30. And my last product is 1 times 1, or 1. All right, so what do we get? Well, we get 30 squared plus 30 here. And I'm going to add these two. I'm going to write that as 31. And you're looking at here the mental method of how to square any two-digit number ending in 1. So realize that we're trying to square 31 squared, right? But what this is saying is hey, take the previous number 1, which is 30, and square it first. All right, so square the previous number. So you square the previous number, that's easy. 30 times 30 is 900. So I'm thinking 900 here. Then you add, all right, the previous number, all right, plus the number itself. So plus the number itself, okay, the number given, 31. So what I do is I take 900, I square the previous number to get 900, then I take 30, the previous number, and the number itself, add them together, and I get 61 to get a total of 961. Now, believe it or not, it sounds like a lot, but all you're doing in your head is this step right here. These are the mental steps. So let me write that down, the mental steps right here. Okay, and then of course, you always check with the calculator. So you type in 31, square that bad boy, and you get 961. So always check as you go. So you take the previous number squared, then you add the previous number and the number itself, and voila, you can square any number ending in 1 pretty darn easily, because it's always easy to square the previous number. That's the easy part. All right, so let's go through a couple examples here, a couple more, just so to get the idea, and then I'll change up the decimals as well. So here we go. Let's suppose we want to do 41 squared. All right, so now I'm thinking, here are my steps. 40, I'm thinking 40 squared. That's 40 times 40, or 1600. If you're not seeing that, it's 40 times 40. Notice there's two zeros. 4 times 4 is 16 with two zeros. That's called 1600. My next step is to take 40 plus 41. That's 81. And then you add, and you get 1681. So this should be 1681. And then you check. 41 squared, 1681. Voila. All right, so step 1 is here. Step 2 is here. Step 3, add results. Easy. All right. Well, it is easy after you get the hang of it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to change up the decimal too a little bit. All right. So let's try it one more time. In fact, let's kick in a decimal here. So let's say we want to square not 51, but 5.1, all right? We want to figure what that is. So step 1, you're going to take the previous number. You're going to ignore the decimal temporarily, all right, and take 50 squared, which is 50 times 50, or 2500. Step 2, we're going to take 50 and add 51 to it. Add the previous number and the number itself to get 101. Step 3, we're going to add the results. So the intermediate result is 2601. But that's not quite the answer. Okay, you have to understand here what this means is that it's 5.1 times 5.1. So going back to third grade for a moment, notice that there's a couple digits to the right of the decimal. So you have to shift the decimal 2 places left. Shift decimal 2 places left. That's what you were taught in third, fourth grade, so you do the same thing again. So the answer should be 26.01. So 26.01, then you check it, 5.1. All right, square that bad boy, and you get 26.01. So it doesn't matter where the decimal is. You just have to use some number sense and what you're taught in grade school, believe it or not, to handle any decimal situation. So if you have something like this, same thing applies. If you have something like 6.61 squared, all right, first thing you do is you ignore the decimal and square the previous number. Now 60 times 60 is 36 with two zeros, so it's 3600. Step 2, you take 60 and add 61 to it, and you get 121. Step 3, you add, and you add the results, you get 3721. Okay, so but that can't be the number. All right, you have to understand that 0.61 times 0.61, when you multiply those, there's 4 digits to the right of the decimal. So you got to shift 4 places right. So the decimal should be right here. All right, 4 places left. So you go 0.61 squared, and voila, you get 0.3721. Easy. It even works when the number ends in a 0. Okay, so let me show you that case too, because you got to see all variations so you can handle it. So let's say that you're at 710 and you want to figure that out squared. So step 1, ignore the 0, okay, and look at squaring 70 first. 70 times 70 is 4900. Step 2, 70 plus 71 is 141. Step 3, you add the results, and you should get 5,000. 4,900 plus another 100 is 5,000, and then the 41. Okay. Now that's really not the answer though, because when you square the 3-digit number, you get a huge number, right? So let's go back to grade school one more time. Well, your teacher should have said, "Hey, look at the zeros there. When you multiply numbers that ends in zeros, you attach it to the number itself. So we have to adjust it here. So really, we get 504,000. Why? Because you have to attach 2 zeros to your answer. You have to adjust your decimal, this time to the right 2 places. Then you check it. So let's check it. Let's take 710, square that little bad boy. All right, and we get 504,100. All right. Now you're saying, Ainsworth, oh, I'm not quite sure what you mean. So, okay, let's do it just one more time since you're here with me virtually. All right. Let's take 810 and square it. All right, so first step, ignore the 0 and look at 81 and square the one before it, which is 80. And get 80 times 80, or 6,400. Step 2, add 80 and 81 to get 161. Step 3, all right, you get 6,561. All right, then you have to understand that what you're really doing is doing this. And there's 2 zeros to the right, right? So you have to adjust your decimal. And you get 656,100. And then you check it. So you take 810, you square it, and you get 656,100, see? So it's not that bad. And that's how you square any 2-digit number ending in 1, guys, no matter whether it has decimals or zeros. All right? So try the short activity here. Check it with your calculator, and I'll see you in my next lesson. This is Ainsworth signing off. Bye-bye.